Hello and welcome. My name is Isabel Langtry. I'm the principal of Hampstead School of Art, and it's my great pleasure to be working here in Hampstead Manor in the beautiful teal row townhouses built by Mount Anvil. Hampstead Manor is just a few minutes walk from Hampstead School of Art and about 8 minutes walk from Hampstead Heath, which is for us an incredibly inspiring space. You will know that Hampstead has a great cultural tradition, and we are proud to be part of that tradition. I'm very proud to welcome you. Hampstead School of Art loves community partnership, and working with Mount Anvil in community partnership is a great pleasure. Today we're going to make Christmas pudding artwork. You're well prepared, you have your art packs, and in your art packs you have a sketchbook. If you want to take your sketchbook and open it up, then you have a choice to make. I know some of you are working in families, which is lovely. Some of you are working individually, which is great. So, I'm going to work on a very large scale, and the reason I do that is because I love it, but also because it allows the viewer to see a lot of the detail work that I'm doing. Your choice is to work right across your sketchbook or to work on an A4 size sheet. You could also tear pieces out. So if you go to the middle of your sketchbook, you can take out sheets. If you want to work individually, then you have that flexibility. If you want to work together, then work as big as you can. Okay. The Christmas pudding has a great tradition in this country, and it started in the 1300s. The Christmas pudding wasn't sweet in those days, but we'll come on to that shortly. Now, what I like to do is to organise what we call the pictorial space, the page that you're going to make your artwork on. And I'm going to make the Christmas pudding. I'm going to mark here the top of the Christmas pudding. That might be where we have a holly leaf eventually, or a cherry. We can choose. So I'm going to mark that there, and I'm going to mark down across here the size of the pudding. Not all puddings are round. Some puddings are flat. So traditionally, you'd make two halves of a Christmas pudding and join them together to make the spherical Christmas pudding. I'm going to draw this one here. And what I love about drawing large scale is that I can use my whole body. It's great fun, great physical, it's a good workout. So if you've got a big wall, you know what to do with it. Okay, so this is my Christmas pudding, and we can draw a plate on this Christmas pudding, or we can get a little bit fancy and draw it on a pedestal. And that's what I'm going to do. Okay, my Christmas pudding's on the fancy pedestal. Nothing like being fancy at Christmas. And at the top here, let's have some cherries. They're going to be lovely bright red cherries. And we're going to have a piece of holly as well. And holly has a great tradition as well. Holly used to be considered good luck. People would plant it outside their houses for protection. And for those religious Christians, it was a reminder of the crown of thorns that Jesus wore. So here we have our basic Christmas pudding. It's quite big. How are you getting on? Have you planned it out on your paper? Yes? Have you sectioned off the top and the bottom so you know exactly where you are? Okay. That's great. Now our Christmas pudding is going to be mostly browns and yellows, so it'd be really nice to have a colourful background. And blue's a great contrast. So choose among the materials that you have. The colour that you'd like to use, okay? And you can go in different textures. So that means cross your material over. You've got your pastel. Start to lay it down in the background. Now the neutral colour that we chose to make this sketch, it's all going to be covered over, so don't worry about the colour that you choose at this stage. Now, because the colours that we choose are going to relate to that background colour, all right? Let's go for a yellow now. I'm going to use my yellow to help us sketch in where the icing goes. Now, depending on whether you like icing a lot or not, you can have a little, you can have a lot. So, the icing could come part the way down the pudding, or it could be like sort of like a crown at the top. That's your decision to make. I'm going to do quite a bit of icing. So imagine it dripping down the cake. You're pouring it with your jug, and it's going to fall in different areas like this and come down across like that. There's my icing. Okay. And that's going to be the largest area of one colour, though we could add lots of tone to that too. And that's going to be a light yellow colour. So, very often, this is made with brandy butter. Brandy not being compulsory, but it is rather nice. We'll come back and finish that off in a minute. So, the main body of the Christmas pudding. What's a Christmas pudding made of? Well, back in the 11th century, Christmas pudding was a savoury pudding, and it was made using beef and tripe mixed in with fruits, with dried fruits. So it's a very different thing to what it is today. Today we know it as being very, very sweet. And that was something that really was reinvented by the Victorians. Let's take a strong colour now and go over that line that plotted in the outside area of your Christmas pudding. Let's redefine that line. Okay, nice strong colour. And we're going to use the same colour now to imagine we've got lots of different fruits here. This one could be a raisin, or it could be dried plum. And we're going to make lots and lots of textures here. Okay. It's great fun. What do you think so far? How's yours going? Okay, have you got this far yet? Start putting your fruit in. Let's go for another colour. I'm going to use more of a brown this time. You can make different shapes, so I'm going to do some triangles this time with this brown shape. So we're creating a sort of a patchwork of colours, okay, that are Christmas pudding colours. Now I remember when my grandmother used to put coins in our pudding, and this was also something to do with luck. And there's lots of traditions around the Christmas pudding are to do with luck and the future. She would put Christmas sixpences in, and she told us that the sixpence was made of silver, which is the old coin before decimalisation. And if you got a sixpence in your pudding, which she would put in when she cooked it, so as she made the mixture of fruits and nuts and eggs, she would push these sixpences into the pudding. And if you got one, you were very lucky and you were allowed to go and spend it. But it's not always been sixpences. Because at other times, objects were put into the Christmas pudding. And sometimes a thimble was put into Christmas pudding. And if you were a spinster, somebody who wasn't married, and you got a thimble, it meant that you were going to stay a spinster. Not a bad thing in today's world. And if you got a button, which they put into the Christmas pudding, and you were an unmarried man, you were going to stay an unmarried man. Old traditions. Today, if you put a 5p in your Christmas pudding, you're just lucky, and lucky is a wonderful thing. But in those days of superstition, it was lucky to use 13 ingredients in your pudding, because 13 is lucky. Now I need to use circles. And you also had to stir the pudding from east to west. And the day of stirring the pudding was called Stir Up Sunday. So, have you got lots of shapes coming? Yes? That's great. Let's try another colour. This time I'm going to go for a dark yellow, yellow ochre. And I think the circles are quite successful. I'm happy with them. How's it looking? Oh, it's quite fun, isn't it? Now, if you agree on your colours and you agree on your shapes, you can really start filling in the space. But there's something else that you can do too, because in your art packs, you've also got some collage paper. And collage and pastels make a great combination. When we join materials together, we call it mixed media. We'll come to that in a minute. Are you happy? Yeah? Don't forget your pedestal or your dish. I'd love to see them, you know. So when this is over, perhaps you could send your images in and Lauren will pass them to me. Or you could come down to Hampstead School of Art and I'll look at them for you. Let's break it up a little bit now. So, you've got your Pritt stick, yeah? So pull it out a little bit, just unscrew it. And I've got some gold paper, so I'm working to a bigger scale than you. You just tear some paper off your colourful sheets that you got in your pack and choose where you want to put a piece. Okay, so I'm going to put a piece just here. I'll lay it along the edge of my brandy butter, because that's very exciting. And so we start to develop the texture. See how well that contrast works together. And what it's going to do is going to bring in a different light. So we've got light and texture working together. This is a very rich pudding. And I could eat it all myself. Actually, it's really nice the way that the collage itself starts to change the shape and the colour of it. Look at this. Very nice contrast. Even though that's a yellow and that's a gold, it reflecting light in very different ways. Just fit it into a space there. That looks really good. I'm very happy. Okay, and I've got some old magazine pieces here as well we're going to use. So this is a great thing about newspaper and having pieces of old photocopies around. We can recycle those, or we can repurpose them as mixed media artworks. And here's a page of, look at this, it's a Renoir, famous painting of flowers. It's just a print. Let's put it along here. It's going to add some different colours. It's really adding to the texture. That's a nice piece. See how we're sort of building layers now. You know, when you go walking out in Hampstead, you're so lucky because you have some fantastic shops here. I was walking on the main road, Hampstead Village, the other day, and Gales have got the most delicious looking Christmas things. The Hampstead Butcher, the Hampstead Providore and Butcher, he sells vegan Christmas puddings. And Paul's, lovely shop, is selling traditional Christmas pies. So have a wander up there and see what the local shops are doing. Okay, so we've got a rich tapestry really developing here. And we need to do a little bit more work on our lovely brandy butter. Let's bring that up to a real richness of yellows. Yeah, are you getting there? Okay. Looks great. I think Nigella would be very pleased. Let's put some red in, and that's going to really bring everything to life now. Berries or cherries, whichever's the most delicious for you. Let's do some holly. Oh, lovely. It's a contrasting colour. Just redefine that shape and start to bring in the texture by laying your pastel down in different areas. So I'm going to go vertically, and I'm going to go horizontally, and I'm going to go scratchy, scratchy. Oh, lovely. I'm nearly there. How are you doing? You happy with it? There's a lot more for me to do, it's much bigger. But the contrast of the blue, this area here, the contrast of the green, the blue, the yellow, the different reds of the pudding itself, the browns. Ah, it's looking very good. Let's put some more blue in here. See, the light really makes a difference, and this blue's bringing a lot of light into it. I think we've just made our big Christmas decoration. And you've each got your own recipe, that's a great thing. Need a step. Certainly a big one. Let's add a bit more to the main body of the pudding. looking rich. Darker brown. Need a really big knife now. We could cut an imaginary slice. That'd be so nice. I think I could do with a slice now. Lots of energy. Slightly different colour. I think we need a sort of an orange now. Yes, perfect. Like lots of cherries. I love this candied fruit. Don't forget, if you actually make one at home that you can eat, that the best bit for me is setting it on fire. And there's a great trick to a successful blaze, and that is to warm your brandy up a little bit. So what my grandmother taught me to do is put a little bit of brandy, or whatever you're going to use, it could be whiskey or it could be vodka, put it in the microwave for a few seconds so it's really warm, and then you light it. Works like a treat. Okay, last few minutes, bit of a frenzy. Let's use a continuous line, just to join all these spaces together. That's it. Sort of like knitting, really. There we go. Lots of knitting. Looking nice. Join all those colours together. This is the main bulk, really, of your pudding base. Yeah, I think that's a good technique to use. I'd love to see yours. I think the colours are working very well. Are we edible yet? Messy work, but great fun. Don't let that put you off. Nearly there, look. Covered such a big space in this time. Amazing, really. Maybe you've done 3 or 4. working for you. You happy? I haven't really had time to do the dish. Might just put that in very lightly. It's a nice thing to put in. Let's use pink. Ah, it's a nice complementary colour. Yeah, I think that works. Not quite finished, but it gives you a good impression, I think, what a large-scale drawing can be like. So that was great fun, great workout for me, great pleasure to work with you. Do come and show me your work, or do send your work into Mount Anvil. They'll pass them on to me, and we can put them up on our gallery if you'd like to, on our online gallery. Should be a great pleasure. So up to you. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's imagine cutting a slice and enjoying it together. It's our own recipe, and I do think Nigella would be very proud of us. Very, very nice to work with you. I hope to see you again soon. Bye now.